Joining us now is Okpe with stories trending around the world. Hello, Genix.
Good morning, Dr. Bati.
Why are you looking like me like that?
You know, I always love your gray jacket. I guess that's what it was. How are you?
It's good to see you.
Good to see you, too. Good morning to Rabiola.
Good morning, OG.
You look great.
Did you spot something?
Aha! I've been waiting for that.
Ah.
Can I tell everyone?
Yes.
No.
Yes.
No. Good
Yes,
morning,
yes,
Rufai.
yes.
Good morning,
Tell
Rufai. No. How are you?
Very well.
This is national television.
Tell.
International, please.
International television. Beg your pardon.
I see it on TV.
Well, I love you guys. Well, good morning to you viewers. Here are some of the stories that are trending across the globe. In the United States, amid deteriorating conditions in migrant camps on both sides of the Mexico border, authorities on Wednesday released some Haitian migrants that gathered in South Texas while deporting others on flights. In Nigeria, 4 survivors of a gas leak accident, which occurred in Lagos on Sunday, September 19th, have taken to social media to thank God and the rescue team days after a 40-foot container fell on their vehicle and crushed it. Despite being beneath the container for hours, all 4 emerged alive.
Nobody died.
Under sports, finance experts Forbes has revealed their list of top 10 players that are set to take a staggering $584 million in pre-tax earnings this season. And Portuguese star Cristiano Ronaldo takes the #1 spot with a total earning of $125 million from Manchester United, overtaking Argentina's Lionel Messi, who takes the #2 spot, raking in $110 million from Paris Saint-Germain. Under entertainment, Nigerian-born designer Joy Merabi opened Milan Fashion Week on Wednesday with her debut runway collection. A year after her inaugural collection found commercial success, the Italian National Fashion Chamber tapped Merabi to open 6 days of women's wear previews for Spring-Summer 2022, signaling a movement to promote diversity in Italian fashion. And a documentary of the exploits of the late bishop and Yoruba linguist Samuel Ajayi Crowther is set to be produced by Nigerian travel journalist Pelu Owefashaw. Bishop Ajayi Crowther, a Sierra Leonean Nigerian clergyman, was celebrated as the first African Anglican bishop of West Africa. Finally, tributes have been pouring in for Melvin Van Peebles, the groundbreaking filmmaker, playwright, and musician whose work ushered in the blaxploitation wave of the 1970s. He is father to actor-director Mario Van Peebles. His family announced that he died on Tuesday evening at his home in Manhattan. He was 89 years old.
Oh, may his soul rest in peace. Let's begin what's trending with reactions trailing the seizure of the mansion and other property belonging to the former governor of Kwara State, Abdul Fattah Ahmed, over a 5 billion naira debt. The former governor, who is reported to be a high-profile obligor of the Asset Management Corporation of Nigeria, AMCON, is said to have remained recalcitrant over the repayment of his obligation. Well, let's take a quick listen to the lawyer for AMCON, Robert Onuoba, who received the protective orders from the court to recover the debt owed by the former governor before we take some reactions.
Today, the 22nd day of September, I, Chief Barrister Robert Onuoba, lawyer to AMCON, we have come to take over this palatial mansion belonging to Abdul Fattah Ahmed. Until he pays the money he's owing AMCON and the federal government, by extension, he will not have access to this property any longer. Nigeria must move forward. Debtors must pay their debt. It's an obligation. This is the premises of Abdul Fattah Ahmed, his palatial mansion in Kwara State, number 9A Abdul Razak Street, GRA, Ilori, currently taking place now Today, the 22nd day of September 2021.
Oh, this is quite embarrassing, Rufai. Your analysis on this. I guess the ex-governor had released a statement saying that the seizure was unnecessary because the loan was part of a defunct loan from an intercontinental bank back in 2019. I don't know what your thoughts are.
I mean, so yeah, intercontinental bank loan and all of that, things that have, gone south, as it were. For me, yeah, AMCON is doing their job. Mop up all those loans because AMCON was set up on the heels of the financial crisis in 2008. That was when it was set up, to mop up all these loans, because these loans are bad for the economy. Really. Most of the problems we have from these loans. Yes, AMCON should go around and doing their job. But my part is, it should be across board. It is not only this man that has a loan that has gone bad. There are other people too that have loans that have gone bad. AMCON should go out after them, so that we bring parity as regards recovery of loans. And really, yeah, if you go after someone and seize a property, should you take the picture and put it on social media? Because this is shaming. So we are so quick to shame people that collect loans in this country. But we can't name and shame sponsors of Boko Haram.
I knew you were going there.
And terrorists. So this is quick. A lawyer can do this.
Yeah.
But people that are sponsoring terrorism in this country, we can't name. You see, what makes me tired about the country is the grand scale hypocrisy. I'm not saying what is done is right. People can default, people can fall on hard times. They might not pay back their loans. Collect the loans, but don't make a show out of it. And really, we must also have an economy that, yeah, people can, fall on hard times financially and not pay back their loans. But we must also have an economy that supports the resurgence of the business, not the individual. I'm concerned about the business. In America, that's why they have Chapter 11 bankruptcy. People have gone bankrupt. Trump gone bankrupt many times. People have gone bankrupt.
You were going to
yes.
I knew that was
But
coming.
they come back because the system works for them.
Right.
So it's not just only AMCON drawing back loans. It's AMCON also ensuring that these businesses get back on. Because one too many times, the businesses are dead, and they are dead as dodo forever. But this should be across board. There are many people walking the streets, spraying monies in parties today that have AMCON's loans worse than this. And no lawyer can go out there and film all of this because they're probably more connected than some. Some animals are not as equal. Nigeria is another case of animal farm.
Yes, this is an Orwellian dystopia. Yes, according to Ahmed Kuru, there's about 1.5 trillion naira in bad debts. I mean, that's just a staggering amount.
Yes.
But for me, we're talking about this story during one of the earlier ad breaks on the show. I find this so embarrassing, OG. Just yesterday, the former governor was part of the people who have floated this Rescue Nigeria party. And here they come with this awful story, and I'm thinking, gosh, who really needs rescuing here? It's embarrassing, which I guess is why in his statement he has accused the lawyer for AMCON of overzealousness.
Yeah.
He's really been dragged through the mud by this kind of action. It's most unfortunate. I do understand AMCON and the fact that they have to apply pressure. They've entered into deals with ICPC. They're trying to sort of attach deposits in other banks that even have nothing to do with the loan that was taken, although, remember, that was controversial. AMCON is doing its best to recover the bad loans, but this kind of public shaming is really cringesome.
It's not the first time. We saw one
Embarrassing.
recently as well. Dr. Bati, your analysis on this story.
Okay, let me start with a statement that has been issued by the spokesperson to former Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed. And the details are as follows. One, that the former governor is in reconciliation talks, negotiations with AMCON. Two, that the loans that were taken, the purported 5 billion taken by companies belonging to him, Transnational Properties Limited and Trans IT, these were monies taken from Intercontinental Bank and Finbank to buy shares in whatever companies. And that what has been done, the point of disagreement in the reconciliation is that, the shares, he had offered that his shares should be sold to liquidate the debt. But that they had added to those shares, the value of those shares, some other loans that he claims he is not responsible for. Finally, the former governor says that he's willing to liquidate whatever, whatever he's owing, provided there is a proper disaggregation of whatever he's owing. But it will now appear on the basis of that explanation that maybe there is a breakdown in terms of the negotiations. And AMCON went ahead to take possession of that property in Ilorin GRA. But the question that raises immediately is this standard procedure for counsel? The lawyer that is talking, it was sounding like, this was a premeditated
Correct.
attempt
He was ready to post it. Yes.
to embarrass the government.
Right.
And for him to act as a judge and jury in the matter, because he was also making political statements.
Yes.
We have to do something about this country.
Yes.
Where we should not allow this kind of thing. He's expressing an opinion and passing a judgment. And if every lawyer goes about, with a phone to collect evidence, and they put it in the public domain, they are doing what that amounts to is trial by media, which in fact may be contemptuous in the face, away from the face of the court, contempt ex facie curia. Now, the point you raised, is another part of it, which is that this is a former governor who was a convener of an event in Abuja, and 24 hours later, he's under this kind of situation. And, I don't think we can make that direct connection, because he said he remains a member of the People's Democratic Party. He's going nowhere. And he belongs to groups having a conversation about Nigeria, the Abuja Roundtable, and also this Rescue Nigeria project. So it will be very difficult to, strike a connection there in terms of his political choices. But whatever it is, former Governor Abdul Fattah Ahmed should talk to AMCON. And the point that was suggested, too many big men in Nigeria living on borrowed funds and who do not want to pay back. But that's, morality. If it's a contractual relationship, due process should be followed. If somebody is defaulting, they can go to court. And I would like to know whether that Obioha, the counsel, was executing a judgment of court. And if he was executing a judgment of court, is he the right person to do it? These are some of the questions.
Well said, Dr. Abati. We'll take another story. The Indigenous People of Biafra, through its spokesperson, Emma Powerful, is alleging that the federal government has perfected plans not to bring Nnamdi Kanu, leader of the group, to court on October 21st, the date scheduled for his trial. The group says the federal government's plan is to suppress agitation and force everyone into submission, and that they plan to keep Nnamdi Kanu locked up behind bars without trial to demoralize him. The group has now threatened a 1-month lockdown in the southeast if the federal government refuses to bring him to court. Tunju, I don't know if this is the right direction. The IPOB have been threatening this stay-at-home order. Recall in August they had issued one, but it wasn't carried out. But I believe that the Ohanes Ndigbo worldwide is asking them, the group, which they claim there are about 60 million of them, to take their agitation to Abuja. They should, maybe do a peaceful protest to Abuja instead of, causing more hardship for the people of the Southeast.
I cannot begin to imagine the repercussions of a 1-month sit-at-home order. It will be completely disastrous for many individuals and many families. But on the other hand, I'm sorry, OG, I find this quite triggering. I'm not making parallels between the two cases, but I have personal experience of my dad not being brought to court when he ought to have been brought to court. So these things do happen, and it does happen to demoralize the person being held. Absolutely no parallels whatsoever, I must stress, but I do know the evil that they're trying to prevent, and I completely understand that they want to ensure that we don't have a high-profile prisoner of conscience just being locked up awaiting trial, like so many hundreds of thousands are all over Nigeria. I actually feel very strongly about this subject, so I think I should keep quiet.
Yeah, because what was the reason the federal government did not bring Nnamdi Kanu to court on his last hearing? What was the reason? Why did they have to adjourn it?
No, on July 26th, Justice Binta Nyako, of the Federal High Court, Abuja, decided to adjourn the Nnamdi Kanu case till October 21 because the federal government authorities were unable to produce him.
Correct.
Now, what IPOB is doing now is to put pressure on government to say that, look, the next trial date, which is October 21, it should be produced in court. Whatever you may think of IPOB or their politics, the fundamental issue is that every accused person, whatever may be the allegations, is innocent until proven guilty.
As always.
And every accused person must be allowed to have his day in court, no matter what you think about the circumstances. And I think that those principles that they are insisting upon, about fair trial, about fair hearing, Section 36 of the 1999 Constitution uses the phrase fair hearing. Those principles are inviolable. So to the extent that anybody, not even maybe IPOB, it can be Ohaneze Indigbo, it can be Samba, it can be anything, you cannot argue with that point. So if there is a suspicion that he will not get fair hearing, he will not get fair trial, then of course they will put, they will apply this kind of pressure. And what this proves again is that the case, has a political undertone. It's not just about a case in court. There's also a political dimension to it. And stakeholders who are associated with him are saying, no, you cannot, detain a man indefinitely. If you have charges against him, bring those charges before the court of law, of proper jurisdiction, and allow him to defend himself. But to go and lock people up indefinitely, as we do in Nigeria, that is unacceptable.
Absolutely.
It's a violation of the justice administration system.
Well said, Dr. Abati. We'll take another story. This time in the United Kingdom. Data by the General Medical Council is indicating that at least 353 Nigerian doctors have been registered to work in the country in the last 100 days. According to the data, the council licensed the 353 Nigerian trained doctors between June 10th and September 20th, 2021. The statistics also showed that between July 24th and September 21st, about 862 Nigerian trained doctors were licensed in the UK, despite the COVID-19 pandemic. Overall, 8,737 doctors who obtained their degrees in Nigeria currently practice in the United Kingdom. Rufai, over to you on this story.
And that's the problem, we keep seeing in society. And we'll say it now. Somebody will say, we have enough doctors in Nigeria. Some people, in the name of ministers, will say that. This is a brain drain. Your people are suffering here. You don't have doctors. They are leaving. You know why they are leaving? Because the environment is not conducive for them. They are going to the UK. Almost every doctor you see on Nigerian street today is either thinking of writing PLAB. They are writing PLAB, they are going to the UK. Or not even doctors. Doctors are small. Radiologists. A friend of mine that's a radiologist told me that she has 17 fellow Nigerians in a hospital somewhere in Warwick, that they all left Nigeria almost at the same time. 17. So we are not only having doctors going, lab scientists, radiologists, and the likes, and they are being fitted into the NHS system. So while we do all of this, doctors are on strike.
Absolutely.
You take them to court, you're out of court because you can't fulfill an agreement. We are playing with the future of our country. You need doctors. Even dictators like Fidel Castro understood the importance of healthcare. Today, the investment in healthcare, Cuba has been able to make a vaccine. Even if you call Fidel Castro a dictator, he understood the importance of healthcare in his own nation. Cuban doctors are celebrated all over the world. But here, we treat the issue with kid gloves. It is sad. It's a slap on our face.
Cuban doctors are celebrated and they are a big foreign exchange earner for their country, but they're also not paid very well. I don't understand why a noble profession, the most noble profession as far as I'm concerned, medicine, is treated in this fashion. I mean, you have to be such a brainiac. I'm surprised you didn't go into medicine. I suppose it's also a vocation. Maybe you don't like the sight of blood. Actually, you don't. I know that about you. That's why. It's all the brainiacs that go into medicine. This is the creme de la creme, and this is how we treat them. It's disgraceful. Rufai, to add to your list, dentists as well, nurses, midwives, leaving in droves. And how won't they? Why won't they?
Dr. Abati, your comment.
Well, I mean, 8,737 Nigerian doctors trained in Nigeria, now working in the United Kingdom. I hope that someday somebody will tell us the number of Nigerian trained doctors that are in Saudi Arabia, that are in the United States, that are in Canada.
We should know.
We will all be shocked.
Yes.
And yet here in Nigeria, we have a public health system that is not working. The doctor to patient ratio is one of the lowest, even in Africa, by global standards. And in the past 1 year, the National Association of Resident Doctors has gone on strike 4 times.
Yes.
What they get is the federal government threatening them, state government saying, well, they don't have resources. Doctors being told that they were illegally recruited, and which was I had to ask somebody who should know whether there are illegal doctors in Nigeria. So, but the ones that are all over the world, they are not illegally recruited, but they could have been more useful here if the conditions were more welcoming. So this is the Nigerian story all over again. And it's not just doctors or medical personnel that are leaving. Academics are leaving too.
Yes.
Because the pay is better elsewhere. The treatment is better. So that's what happens. If you don't create an enabling environment for the flowering of talent and skills, then you become a provider for other parts of the world, as was the case with Ireland in the 19th century. And many of those cultural figures from Ireland went elsewhere and excelled and became part of the heritage of other people. That's the way we too are going here.
Something needs to be done. We'll take our final story in Kano State, where the Film Censorship Board has banned the screening or selling of movies showing kidnapping and drug addiction scenes in a bid to contain the crime rate in the state. The executive secretary of the state's Film Censorship Board, Ismaila Naba Afakala, who broke the news in a statement on Tuesday, said the ban also affects movies showing scenes involving people snatching mobile phones. The director further stated that the measure became imperative to reduce the possibility of young people adopting such criminal acts in the state because some youth who are exposed to movies that showcase criminal activities may be tempted to replicate or indulge in such acts. I am so shocked. I don't even know what to say. Youth will replicate? I mean, is that an excuse? What is going on here, Tundu?
I just don't even know how they want to enforce that, quite frankly, in this day and age.
They could. They'll stop it. They'll stop it from airing.
Where?
Wherever
Everywhere.
It's going to. Yeah.
Everybody has a smartphone.
Yeah.
You can access anything. They can't stop it.
Didn't they ban cell phones at one point as well? I mean, this is ridiculous. What is going on here?
That cannot be enforced. It's actually quite
I'm glad that you're saying that, Dr. Abbas.
Let's be clear that the executive secretary of the Kano Film Censors Board is speaking out of complete ignorance. His, strong argument is that if young people from Kano State, if they watch movies depicting the theft of phones, so they too will go and be stealing phones. And that if they watch kidnapping and banditry,
they
too will become bandits or kidnappers.
They will become bandits.
So it doesn't sound intelligent to me because it's based on 2 assumptions. The first assumption is that everybody will react to a movie the same way. The second assumption is that if people watch a movie, they will automatically begin to emulate the actors, and it doesn't sound logical. But I know that some people think like that. In mass communication, it's called the magic bullet theory or the epidemic needle theory, developed in the 1930s by Harold Laswell, following the incident of the War of the Worlds, when we were told fake aliens were going to attack the world, and everybody listened to that radio program and believed it. But that theory has since been debunked because it doesn't quite follow like that, in terms of human behavior. So this particular Census Board secretary needs some education. It doesn't work like that. It's a disputed theory, and it's just a way of harassing people.
Yes.
And if anything, culture is an extrapolation of reality.
Yes.
What if when you depict those evils that happen in society, it could be done in a way that, in fact, you can use it as an instrument of enlightenment.
That's really simple.
So culture can be used to enlighten, to promote ideas and values in society. But I don't know the level of his education. obviously his level of education is quite limited.
And Audrey, it's not only him. You remember that was how they censored half of A Yellow Sun when he came out?
Yes, I remember that as well.
Censored half of A Yellow Sun.
Well,
And didn't people watch it? They did.
They did.
They'll
Thank
find a
you.
way to watch it.
Thank you. Well, that's all I have for you on What's Trending today. We'll see you tomorrow.